Alright, hey everybody. It's been a while, sorry. This is just how life goes. Back to the horror chocolates, the mold. If you recall, which, yeah, if you're watching the videos, but for those who are just jumping in on it, this is one of them. This is Jigsaw, and this is a 3D print, and the guy that I had print for me had it on low resolution. The printer that I used could print way better than this, but whatever. So not only that, but there were some things I wanted to change about some of the other molds, sculptures, the other chocolates that will become chocolates. So it was what we did. We poured a mold of just those prints over those prints, and then I took the mold and I filled them with wax. And I've got those in here now that after I've modified. So we're going to demold these right now. Now is what I did for this initial mold, because this is what I'm going to do is cast more of them to make more molds. I used dragon skin. You can use anything for this mold, this stage of the process, but eventually you'll want to use a food safe mold like Sort of Clear 18, or yeah, let me double check. Yeah, Sort of Clear 18, or there's a there's a couple different brands, but you can look them up. Food safe molds. So let's pull this off. Now, something that I forgot to do, and we'll see if it made a big difference, was before I poured the dragon skin, I forgot to spray the inside of the mold with mold release. Usually you don't have to do that on a mold with silicones because it will just delaminate. But I used tape to line the inside of my Lego or Mega Block, whatever you want to use, mold form. And it's stuck pretty good in the past, but it looks like this is pulling off pretty nicely. So, yep, just pull it away from the edges there. And pull it out. Now if you're using a urethane rubber, you just want to use a lot of mold release every time, but that's a lot of work for me, so I don't use urethanes as often. So here we go. Here's this, and there's some rubber that has come over behind the back of this, and that's not a problem. So what you can do is I have a really sharp blade that I keep, and a working blade. But I'm just gonna slightly put a little slight pressure, and I'm going to use this. Oh, I guess it's a little dull. Okay, time to change the blade. Anyways, come around the edge there, and it comes off really nice. Make sure I'm on camera. Oh yeah, so I remembered this time to do a landscape mold instead of a portrait. I'm like a psycho there. So sorry from past vids again. Anyways, yes. Cuts. Fairly nice. Alright, well I'll go through and I'll clean up the edges. Kind of see the little flange there. You want to clean that up so you get a better cast. This one looks like it did really well. There's just a little bit of rubber coming off the edge there. But for the vid's sake, I'm going to do that later. Take these guys out. So yeah, that was lucky. That delaminated fairly well. So if you don't have a lot of Legos and you don't want to buy a lot of Legos, some other material you can use, and I honestly don't know what it's called. I know that you can use it for signage, but it's plastic and it's corrugated, or whatever you call that. But this does great. You don't have to put tape on the inside. The silicone comes right off. You don't have to spray it unless you're doing a urethane. And fairly cheap if you can find it. If you find the sign, like they have the little metal posts, that's a little more expensive. But yeah, so there's that. Okay, so these guys, yeah, same deal. A little bit. That's okay. I'm just gonna pull these out. Oh, so yeah. So there we got Mike Myers. Yeah, this one's pretty blah. I didn't do a whole lot of changes on this guy. Did give him better ears, but they're still bad. Inside out William Shatner, right? But we've got Jason. So I put a crack in his hockey mask. We added the little triangle there. Sorry to bump the thing. Some scratches, better leather straps, skin texture, funky stuff. Jigsaw doesn't look a whole lot different, but are little things. And then we've got Chucky. So that one turned out nice. On the retooling, got some stitches, a few staples here and there. And then we've got Freddy. That one was fun. Trying to get references for the his right side of his face. Just about all the images on the internet are of his left side. So if you see the toys, there's this kind of triangle shape on his cheek. The toys that have it on both sides. I mean, just because the references were poor, and I didn't want to go sit through the show and do screen captures. So funny there. Okay, so from this point, I will trim off the edges. And the way I do that, I get some scissors and I just put a little bit of pressure on the open and just put some muscle into it and slice this edge off. And then for these shorter lengths, I can just cut it off. And you want to make sure you get a good chunk of it off on this side, because you don't want this to have any space in between the bottom of this and the surface of your table or plastic, plexiglass. Sorry, words are awesome. I'm trying to think of the right word to say. Hey, sweetheart, gonna join me today? Okay, go through there, and then this is what you're gonna do. This is what I was trying to say. Stick it on a flat surface that you can transport into your pressure chamber, and I'm going to stick it inside the pressure chamber, and I'm going to fill the resin up to the brim and a little bit above it, so that the surface tension is creating a little mound there on each one of those. And then I'm going to take another one after I clean it up a little bit. I'm going to spray it with mold release, otherwise it'll stick. And while it's sitting in the pressure chamber, I'm going to come in at an angle and slowly put it onto the top. And as what I'm trying to do is push the air out in one direction instead of capturing air. And this will give a nice flat bottom to your resin cast. Then you can put it into your next mold form, pour the rubber over, and boom. So I might not do a video of that. We'll see. But there is my video on the horror chocolates that you can find on line at the Truffle Cottage, and get yourself some of these for Halloween. All right.